You should never make an S Corp election without running the numbers with a qualified CPA, with a qualified accountant. Literally, I looked into it and I started doing all of the things thinking I could just do it myself because I wanted to save a couple of bucks. And then I realized that, wait a minute, I am going to have to pay a service, a fee to pay me, to tax me. And it was a mess for me, okay? Because at first I was not going about it the right way because I was trying to do it myself. So I implore you, if that's something that you are considering, please consult a licensed professional, not YouTube, not TikTok. All right? Okay.
Is a submissive CEO. Power under God. Leadership under authority. Building empires through obedience. Strong in business. Surrendered in spirit. Walking by faith, not by trend. Let's go.
Hello, and welcome to the Submissive CEO Podcast. I am your host, Ludgy. If you're new here, I am really glad you're here. And if this isn't your first episode, welcome back. And thank you for being here and being a part of this community of builders. So this is a space where we are learning how to build with God. So let's get into it. So firstly, I just want to start by letting you guys know that we have launched the Builder Circle. Yay. Super excited about that. You can find us over on the School community. That's SKOOL. It's a platform where we are able to just have community together. We're going to be doing Q&As. We're going to be doing weekly co-working sessions, as well as kind of following up on our teachings from the podcast and kind of bringing that into real world practical situations with real entrepreneurs that are in the trenches as we speak. We're all in it together, helping each other to build. So I would love to have you there. The link will be in the description as well as on our website, which is thesubmissiveceo.com. All right. How is everybody? Hope you have had a super blessed week. Today, we're going to be a little bit more practical. Right? Today's topic is pretty much about your business structure. Do you need an LLC? And I know a lot of people start getting anxiety around those types of topics in your business, but we do need to learn the different options for our businesses, the different structures and the legal implications surrounding them so that we can steward our gifts well, right? So when you first start building the legal and financial side of business, it can feel incredibly overwhelming. There is a lot of information on the internet, okay? And you hear people throwing around terms like LLC, sole prop or sole proprietorship, S Corp, and it's very easy to feel like you're already behind if you don't know what they actually mean and what they could mean for your business. So I have seen some really great builders completely stall out on their launch or on their business because they're terrified of choosing the wrong business structure. And they're kind of worried about getting sued, get worried about their taxes and about doing things the wrong way before they've even launched or made a singular dollar. And so we want to get rid of that anxiety. We don't want you spending hours watching YouTube videos and reading conflicting advice online, because the result of that is analysis paralysis. We get stuck. We don't know what to do because we've consumed just so much information. But the truth of it is, because we are always looking for the truth, is that choosing a business structure is a practical decision. It's not necessarily like a big spiritual crisis. It's about understanding the tools that are available to you and choosing the one that best fits the work that God has called you to do right now. You don't have to have a massive corporate structure to start serving people. You just need to make an informed decision based on your current season of growth. So today we're going to break down the 3 most common business structures, and that is sole proprietorship, LLC, and corporation. And we're going to discuss what each one might or might not do depending on where you are in your business, and hopefully it makes sense for you. Anything that I'm covering today, please, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Just a little disclaimer, I need to say this and be completely clear about it, is I am just sharing educational information with you today, right? I am not an attorney and I am not a CPA or your CPA. Business laws vary by state and country, and your specific tax situation is unique. So always consult with a licensed professional before making any of these decisions. This is just part of our teaching here at the Submissive CEO and our building. So not legal advice. All right. Okay, let's get started. We are going to start with the absolute basics. A business structure determines how your business operates, how it is taxed, and how much of your personal assets are exposed to business liabilities. It's the legal framework that your business lives inside of, okay? The first one we're going to talk about is the sole proprietorship, or sole prop, you might hear people call it. If you start selling a product or offering a service and you do not register any formal business entity with your state, you are automatically a sole proprietor. Okay, it is the easiest and most common way that people start. Okay, you have complete control, and the tax process is relatively simple. Business income and losses are reported directly on your personal tax return using what's called a Schedule C form on your taxes. You don't have to file a separate corporate tax return. Sounds good so far? However, the biggest drawback of a sole proprietorship is that there is no legal separation between you and your business. You and the business are considered the exact same entity. If your business is sued or if your business incurs debt, your personal assets, meaning your car, your savings, your home, are all on the line. Okay. The Small Business Administration often notes that sole proprietorship can be a good choice for very low risk businesses. Okay. That is for builders who just want to test an idea before committing to a formal structure. Or for example, if you are selling digital printables on Etsy and making $50 a month, a sole proprietorship might be perfectly fine for that season. But as your revenue and your risk increase, you will likely outgrow that. Next, we're going to talk about the LLC. Everybody thinks that they need to have an LLC, right? And it may not always be the best thing for you, okay? Financially anyways. LLCs cost, okay? They cost. You have to pay every year for them. That's just another side note. But LLC means limited liability company. This is the structure you hear about most often online, and for good reason, because an LLC is created by filing paperwork, usually called articles of organization, okay, with your state. It's going to be on your Secretary of State's website. Its primary benefit is right there in the name, limited liability. So in most cases, an LLC separates your personal assets, again, your home, your car, your savings, from your business liabilities. Okay. If the LLC is sued or, God forbid, goes bankrupt, your personal assets are generally protected. You still have your house, you still have your car and your savings accounts. The liability is limited to the assets that are owned by the business itself. So if you have a car that is owned by your LLC, that is, pretty much not up for grabs. I don't want to say up for grabs, but that can be included in a lawsuit. But your personal vehicle under your own name would be protected. So I hope that is making sense. From a tax perspective, the IRS treats a single member LLC as a disregarded entity. Right. So if you are the only person in that LLC, you are the only one that is running it, no one else is listed on your articles of organization, you are a single member LLC. And that is considered a disregarded entity by default. And what that simply means is, just like a sole proprietor, you still report the business income on your personal tax return. You get the legal protection of a corporation without the complex tax filing of a corporation. So an LLC it's a great choice for builders who want liability protection, but want to maintain flexibility in how the business is managed and taxed. It's kind of a sweet spot for most service providers, coaches, and people with small e-commerce brands, I would say. Okay. And the last category we're going to talk about is the corporation. We'll start specifically with the C Corp. A corporation is a completely separate legal and tax-paying entity from its owners. It offers the strongest protection from personal liability. However, corporations are a lot more expensive to form, and they require strict record keeping. They require operational processes and reporting. You have to hold board meetings. You have to keep corporate minutes and maintain very rigid separation of business finances and personal finances. There's also the issue of double taxation. A C Corp pays taxes on its corporate profits at the corporate tax rate. Then when those profits are distributed to the owners, so when you as the owner gets paid, dividends from that, you're also going to be taxed on your personal tax return. So why would anyone choose that, right? No one wants to be taxed twice, right? So why would anyone choose a C Corp with those kind of drawbacks? It's usually the best choice for very high risk businesses that need to raise significant outside capital from investors or businesses that plan to go public or be sold. Investors generally will prefer to put their money into C Corps because the legal and financial rules are very standardized, right? So another thing you might hear people talking about is an S Corp. And this is where a lot of confusion happens. An S Corp is not a separate type of legal entity that you form with the state. It is actually a tax election that you make with the IRS, right? Eligible corporations and even sometimes LLCs can elect to be an S Corp. You can elect S Corp status. What that does is it allows you to pass corporate income directly to the owner's personal tax returns, and you avoid the double taxation while you're still maintaining that corporate legal protection that some people want. But it comes with very strict eligibility rules. That's one. For example, you can't have more than 100 shareholders, and all shareholders must be U.S. citizens or residents. Furthermore, if you elect S Corp status, you have to run payroll and pay yourself a reasonable salary, which requires more administrative work. You should never make an S Corp election without running the numbers with a qualified CPA, with a qualified accountant. Literally, I looked into it and I started doing all of the things thinking I could just do it myself because I wanted to save a couple of bucks. And then I realized that, wait a minute, I am going to have to pay a service a fee to pay me, to tax me. And it was a mess for me, okay? Because at first I was not going about it the right way because I was trying to do it myself. So I implore you, if that's something that you are considering, please consult a licensed professional, not YouTube, not TikTok, all right? Okay, so let's bring biblical structure into this. So when we are talking about our business structures, we're really talking about stewardship and order. We're going to look at Proverbs chapter 27, verses 23 to 24. And it says, "Be sure you know the condition of your flocks. Give careful attention to your herds, for riches do not endure forever, and a crown is not secure for all generations." Wow. So in biblical times, flocks and herds were the primary business assets. They were the source of wealth, food, and trade. The writer of Proverbs is telling us to pay attention to the details of our livelihood. Know the condition of your business, manage it with care, diligence, and foresight. Choosing the right business structure is a modern way of giving careful attention to your herds. It is about protecting the resources God has entrusted to you and ensuring that your business operates with integrity and order. We are not forming LLCs and doing all these things out of a spirit of fear. We form them out of a spirit of wise stewardship. We organize our businesses properly so that we can serve our clients well, pay our taxes honestly, and protect our families from just unnecessary risk. God is a God of order, right? God is a God of order. When we establish a clear legal structure for our business, we are creating a container that can hold the blessings and the growth He wants to bring. If you build a house without a foundation, it will collapse when the storms come. Your business structure is part of that foundation. It isn't the most glamorous part of building. And I know this is probably not the most exciting podcast episode that we have had, but it is essential for long-term stability. I want to see you guys grow. So this is part of the process that we have to talk about. So how do you decide practically which structure is right for you? We're going to run this through the 5G blueprint. You guys know 5Gs: God, goals, grit, growth, and gratitude, right? That's what we are operating out of as submissive CEOs. First, God, okay? Pray for wisdom and clarity. Ask God. Ask God to guide you to the right professionals, a good CPA, a solid attorney, whoever it is that can help you to make the best decisions for your specific situation. Do not try to navigate complex legal and financial decisions purely on your own understanding. It will frustrate you, okay? And I don't want you to get discouraged and, miss your call because of frustration. So a lot of builders are trying to save money by doing everything themselves. Like me, I was guilty of that. But pray for discernment and then act on it by seeking wise counsel, right? Secondly is grit. What is the goal of your business right now? Are you just testing a low risk idea on the side? If so, a sole proprietorship might be fine for the next few months while you are validating the idea and the concepts. Are you ready to launch a coaching practice or a service business where you're interacting with clients and signing contracts and taking on a little bit more risk? If so, you might want to consider an LLC. That might be the next logical step to protect your personal assets. All right. Or if you're planning to seek venture capital funding or build massive tech startups, you might want to look at a C Corp. Your structure should support your goals, not hinder them. The third is grit. Grit. Do the work. Okay. Forming an LLC or a corporation requires paperwork. It requires fees, yearly fees, starting fees as well, and just again, ongoing compliance. It takes grit to sit down, read the instructions on your Secretary of State's website, or to pay a professional to help you. It takes discipline to open a separate business bank account and to stop mixing your personal and business funds. Don't let the administrative work stop you from building. Push through the resistance, get the paperwork filed, and move on to the work you are actually called to do. All right. Fourth principle is growth. Remember that your business structure can evolve. Many builders start as sole proprietors. I did. And, they grow into an LLC and eventually elect S Corp status as their revenue increases and they need to optimize their taxes. You don't have to have the final perfect structure in place on day one. You just need to have the right structure for the season of growth that you're currently in. So I don't want you to let fear or the fear of making the wrong permanent choice keep you from making a good temporary choice. I hope that makes sense, right? And finally, the fifth is gratitude. Be thankful that we live in a system where we have the legal frameworks available to protect our families and to build sustainable businesses. Steward that privilege by operating your business with integrity, keeping your business and personal finances separate, and honoring the commitments you make. Be grateful for the opportunity to build something that can outlast you because we are building legacy, right? So I hope that was helpful for you. For reflection this week, our reflection question is going to be, are you letting confusion about business structures delay your obedience? Or are you taking proactive steps to seek wise counsel and establish your business properly? Right? Well, you guys know I always want to leave you blessed, so we are going to end with a short prayer. Lord, thank you for the opportunity to build. We ask for your wisdom as we navigate the practical, legal, and financial details of our businesses. Help us to give full and careful attention to the resources that you've entrusted to us. Remove the spirit of fear and confusion and replace it with clarity and sound judgment. Guide us to the right professionals who can help us to establish our businesses with integrity. We want to be reminded that our ultimate security is in you, not in a legal document. So may everything we build honor you and serve others well. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. If this episode has helped you clarify things today, or maybe even confused you, we'd love to know about it. Leave some questions in the comments. I'm happy to answer what I can. Again, not a legal professional. But I also want to invite you to share the episode with another builder who might be stuck in this stage of their business. Make sure you follow the podcast and leave a review. And if you are looking for a community of entrepreneurs who are navigating these same foundational steps, come and join us in the Builder Circle. I'm super excited about this community, you guys. I've been talking about it for a couple of weeks and it is finally here. So I would love it if you guys would come and check out the amazing things that God is doing through community with us, okay? So as always, keep building, but build with God. And I will see you on the next episode of The Submissive CEO.
This is the Submissive CEO.